We live, we hot. Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is All in the Charts. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up. Drop me a comment. You got to click that bell icon for notifications to know when I go live. If you appreciate the content, you can find me on Twitter. You can find me on YouTube. You can even find me on Instagram for some gym motivation, because everybody should be healthy and working out. And you can also find me on TradingView. It is one word. It is Crypto Bull God. Apologies if I'm coming in a little low energy today, guys. Did not sleep well last night. So hoping to get to bed early this evening. Before we get into the charts, and I hope everyone, by the way, is having a really nice day. Hope you got more sleep than I did. Before we get started and we kind of kick things off here and take a look at the charts, if you didn't have an opportunity to check out yesterday's live stream, I meant what I said when I tweeted out yesterday. I think I tweeted this out, that I think the live stream from yesterday was the best live stream for All in the Charts inception to date. So I started doing All in the Charts at the very end of March. We've been doing this now. You know what? Fucking ding, ding, ding. I'm doing this now consistently for 4 months. And my view is yesterday was the best live stream I put out there. And that is in thanks to Tony coming on the channel yesterday. And if you didn't have an opportunity to watch it, make sure that you give yesterday's live stream a watch. I think something I'm going to be actively looking to pursue for this channel is to bring guests on, because I think what that does is it allows for an avenue for people who I value. And it'll mostly be from a technical perspective, but I could also see it evolving into just more fundamental discussion. But at the end of the day, the value that brings is there's an avenue for these individuals to come on here and share different viewpoints, whether they're similar or they differ from my own. You're hearing from somebody else. I mean, I appreciate you guys tuning in every day. I appreciate you coming on to my channel very much, because I'm extremely passionate about this space. And like I always say, I'm looking to help everyone. But as I have always said, there are other value-added technicians in this space, right? There's other people who are just as intelligent as myself and even smarter, okay? And they have differing and similar viewpoints, and I think it's important to hear their perspectives. So really, really happy that I got Tony on the live stream yesterday. He was, by the way, behind the scenes working with him, like super easy to work with, super chill guy. So I feel confident in stating that I'm definitely going to have him on the live stream again. He seemed very receptive to that idea. So I was very happy. I was very happy to hear that. Definitely have a lot of similarities with him too. Really, really cool guy. So, by the way, make sure for today to drop, we didn't cover the charts yesterday. Make sure to drop in the comments feed here. Let me know who's on the live stream actually, but also I'd love to hear from you, but also let me know what questions you have, what TA questions you have. Plenty of opportunity. The market's just going sideways right now. And as we kind of discussed yesterday, it seems like in this market in particular, when you kind of think about who the base is that makes up a lot of the people who are in this space, when you're on Twitter and kind of reading a lot of the comments, a lot of people who are in their 20s and 30s, a lot of people, and this is kind of an evolution of society, but a lot of people whose attention spans are, thanks to social media, very quick and fleeting, right? We're on the TikTok. I'm not on the TikTok. We're on the TikTok. We're on the Instagram. We're on the Twitterverse and Instagram, and our attention spans are very low. So as the market is going chippy-choppy sideways, it seems like that's like a Max Payne scenario for the market. People hate the idea that, we're not shooting up exponentially in value. But in my opinion, and as you heard yesterday, Tony feels very similar. I believe that we believe that the market is providing you an opportunity to still get in at what will be low valuations several months out from now. So With that being said, there were a few charts that I specifically wanted to take a look at. Of course, we're going to take a look at Bitcoin. I also wanted to take a look at Caspa. Caspa, not Casper. I do own both. I own Casper and Caspa. But Caspa has been on the move. And something I'm going to be doing this past week was kind of tough for me because I was traveling and visiting family, and I made that a priority. I don't see my family often. So I didn't have an opportunity to get out the typical content that I'd like to get out on a weekly basis. But I'm going to be getting back at that this weekend. And one of the projects I'm looking to get out in a TA video is Caspa. But I still want to take a look at the price action because it has had some monumental moves and is expressing a lot of strength against Bitcoin. Quant is another project I want to take a look at. I think this thing has been consolidating for a while. I think a lot of people have gotten testy about it. They've lost hope. Again, a lot of sideways consolidation for a long period of time. But I'm going to point to some charts that really say to me, and I'll point to some price indicators that say to me that we could very likely be seeing a break to the upside sooner than most people are anticipating. And by the way, thank you for giving me a follow on Twitter. I just see that I reached 13,700 followers. I'm getting closer and closer to 14,000. Now, if I can only get my YouTube channel to get up to that 14,000 follower mark. But I've gained some subscribers over the course of this past month, which is good to see. So thank you for your continued support. And with that being said, let's get into it, as I always say. Now, this is the Bitcoin 12-hour chart. As you can see here right now, what we're doing, kind of depicted on this chart, the main thing that we're doing, which should not be a surprise to anyone here, there's kind of two things I would point out on this chart that are readily apparent to me. The first is we're in this orange box of consolidation. I said that it was increasingly back here, was increasingly likely once we dipped below the 50 simple moving average on the 12-hour, we would dip into this area between 29,600 and 28,200. And look where we're at right now. Now, the other thing to point out, this 200 simple moving average should act as an area of support. I don't care if we get a wick below 28,000. Right now, the 200 SMA is at 28,400, by the way. Now, we don't have to touch 28,400, but what should happen is prices, there is a much higher likelihood now that we're hanging out in this area between two moving averages that we're going to want to come down and retest this 200 simple moving average. And if we are as bullish as I believe we are, then what's going to happen is we're going to bounce off this relative area here around 28,400. Again, could we get a candlestick close below slightly here and be at 28,200 and kind of hang out here for a candlestick or two? Yeah, sure. But I'm expecting, excuse me, if I had to give you the most likely scenario, something stuck in my throat, apologies. If I had to give you the most likely scenario at this point, since we're kind of hanging out here, and now we're below 29,600, and since we're below this area of price confluence, it's not going to act as an area of support. It's going to act as an area of resistance now that we're below it. There's a much higher likelihood, in my opinion, that we're going to want to tap down into this region, this area of support right at 28,200, and then the 200 simple moving average on the 12-hour at 28,400, right? So the scenario that I think, and we could even go as low as 27,500, but the scenario that I would see as being sort of most likely at this point, now that we're hanging out down here, is some sort of bounce here, a rejection initially, and then continued momentum up. I mean, it's really all about breaking this area here. It's at roughly 31,500. And again, keep in mind, guys, if you've been here for the live stream for the past couple weeks, what I have shared with you is, and it's a concept that I've shared on the channel many, many times. We've come up to this area now multiple times, and we essentially hit it here as well, okay? Multiple times we've come up to 31,500 and we've hit it. Now, what happens with each successive hit? This resistance does not get stronger, it weakens, okay? So like I said, the next time we come up to 31,500, whether or not we don't do what I think is most likely and we just start to move up, or we do what I believe will be most likely when we move down, once we begin our next move up and we head towards 31,500, I have a very, very strong suspicion that we're going to break right through that area. And then what's going to happen is we're going to entertain these levels up towards 35,500 to 43,000. okay, pretty quickly. This is the area I've been waiting for. And if you followed a lot of the commentary, and a lot of it was making sense, which I think Tony did a great job of explaining himself. I think he was very clear in the points that he conveyed. One of the unique charts that he's been taking a look at that he shared on yesterday's live stream had to do with the historically low rates of volatility in Bitcoin, as well as the Bollinger Bands, which were compressing. And those were at historic levels in terms of how compressed they were, okay? And what that is spelling out for us, the bottom line is, as Stone Cold Steve Austin would say, the bottom line is that what that is telling us is Bitcoin is setting up for a large move. It could be to the downside, it could be to the upside, you know which way I feel. But it is setting up for an explosive move up, okay? And I've shared with you that once we definitively break 31,500, I have this area technically drawn at 30, I think this is technically drawn at like 31.8. Yeah, 31.8, whatever the case is. But this $32,000 area, once it breaks, there is going to be a sharp move at and above 35,500. You're talking about a 10% plus move, okay? Because this is really your next area of resistance. The other thing I wanted to point out on the 12-hour, I wanted to go to the price indicators here and kind of point out the fact that something else I'd like to see break would be this downward area of resistance, right? I want to see us break this and continue a move up. You can see when we've had these areas of price consolidation for the most part, we've had downward areas of resistance that we needed to see. We've had these downward areas of resistance that we needed to see break, right? And once they did break for the most part, you can see we broke here, and this was actually a fake out. But once we broke, you could actually draw it like this. Once we broke this downward area of resistance, we started getting our sharp movement up here. So waiting for this downward area of resistance on the RSI as well to break. I can delete this. Also waiting for the MACD to cross up. Okay, also waiting for the MACD to cross up. We took a look at the weekly. Let's talk about Caspa. Make sure to drop your comments, whatever charting questions that you do have, whatever projects you'd like me to take a look at, let me know. This is Caspa. It looks like I'm looking at this at the moment on the 4-day. Now, we are technically above this area of resistance here at 3.7 cents, but I want the candlestick to close in order to receive confirmation. This will close actually today. We could turn this into a 3-day, in which case, I would actually point as resistance or support as we printed above it. Look at this chart though, guys. Based on the technicals alone, without even understanding anything fundamentally about this project, which I have started to delve into and I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. But if you're just evaluating the technicals and you literally are just seeing an uptrending project while other tokens are in falling wedges, there's a lot of tokens making lower highs and sort of consolidating and going lower. This thing has been monumentally going up in value. One of the things I want to take a look at for that Caspa video is at the start of the year, what I'd like to look at is where was Caspa ranked in terms of market capitalization? Because one of the things I'm noticing is that this thing has very quickly jumped from like market rank of 80 all the way up to, it was at 59 at one point. I don't know where it's at right now. This thing is making a serious move. The more this thing continues to move, the more eyeballs that are going to be on it. It's at 60 right now, okay? Now, one of the things I want to explain to you, and I'll go in more depth in the video on this, our all-time high on Caspa is essentially 4 cents. It's 4.3 cents. That's what I have it identified as, okay? 4.3 cents. Once we break 4.3 cents, we're going to have what we call a blue sky breakout. Then it's a matter of evaluating fib extensions to take an educated guess where this thing could go. But if we start escalating in value, and let's say we even double, once we clear 4 cents, let's say we're up at 8 cents, 9 cents, look at what that does to the market cap. You're going from 740 million all the way up to 1.4 billion. Now, if everything remains status quo, okay, and there's no movements in the market, that could push Caspa all the way up within the top 40. Okay, so we're out of the top 60, we're into the top 40. This thing is making moves. This is a project you want to keep an eye on. The other noteworthy thing about Caspa is that this is not listed on Coinbase. This is not listed on Binance. Okay, so it's not listed on the major exchanges yet. There are going to be increasingly more eyeballs on this thing once it starts getting listed on major exchanges. I personally, for using purchases, Uphold, if you're listening, I personally am using Uphold for my Caspa purchases, similar to my Casper purchases, as well as A0. I use Uphold for all three. Uphold is my preferred exchange for those purchases. So I have my Casper and A0 all through Uphold. But again, it's not even listed on Coinbase or Binance. And I know Casper, speaking of Casper, not Caspa, Casper also is not listed on Coinbase. And I don't think that it's listed on Binance. Is it listed on Binance? I don't think that it is. Let's take a look. It dropped in market cap ranking since its consolidation, although it's due for a push higher. Let's take a look at what exchanges this is on. Is it on Binance? I don't think it is. No, it's not. Nah, it's not. So, well, it looks like it's on crypto.com. I didn't even know that. So, again, there's two tokens. Whether you're talking about Casper, both of these things, once they start getting listed on major exchanges, that's also a news catalyst to help push that thing higher. Now, this is the Caspa BTC relativity chart. And what do we see here? Guys, this is, I thought I had this drawn out, but look at this. I mean, this is beautiful. Not only, I mean, this is pretty obvious, right? We have this uptrending line. You can see we're trending up. The other thing I wanted to point out to you, look at how beautiful this is. I love, and you guys know, when you ask me charting questions on here, you know that I love market symmetry, right? So look at the fact, we're just waiting. This is how I would depict this chart. We have a run up, a rounding bottom. Once we hit resistance, then we have another push up. Then we have a rounding bottom. Now we've hit up against resistance. Now I'm expecting another move up, okay? This is a really strong chart. What this is telling us is Caspa is accelerating in its rate of appreciation and gains relative to Bitcoin. Its momentum, its strength, its positive daily and weekly closes in terms of price action to the upside are outpacing Bitcoin. Very, very positive to see. DT, you use KuCoin. Yeah, and unfortunately, DT, you can use KuCoin. I'm not international, so, or I should say I'm inside the United States, so I can't use KuCoin. But welcome in, DT. Glad to see you. Undead Bitcoiner. If you press Shift while grabbing your line will be straight. Why, thank you for the tidbit of information, sir. If you press Shift while grabbing. Oh, I see what you did right there, my friend. Thank you so much. Okay. I like where you're going. You know, I've used TradingView forever, and I never even knew that. Thank you for the little tidbit of information. I appreciate that. A helpful tip, sir. I'll give you some emojis there. There we go. But this is going to be an interesting project for me to continue to research fundamentally, because I will tell you the way that I develop. Now pump Digibyte. Hey, where's Nick? Pump my bags. By the way, you're welcome. It's like nails on a chalkboard, my friend. It is YOU''RE. Grammar class we are in session right now for grammar. No, but that would be spelling technically, not grammar, I guess. But you know, the way I base my larger positions is, I should probably create a video about that actually, but my larger positions are both technical and fundamental in nature. Smaller positions, even some mid-sized to smaller positions, not as much on the fundamentals, but more on just the technicals, right? So especially my smaller positions, you know, if I see like, like a great trade setup or something where, I'm looking at the chart and it looks beautiful, but I don't know a ton about the project, and I'm like, I'll put a little bit into this. I will do that, whereas I don't really know a lot about the fundamentals, to be honest. But the ones with my larger holdings, like an H-bar, a Harmony One, Bitcoin, obviously, and Ethereum, yeah, off the top of my head, Digibyte, those XRP, those larger positions are established based on technicals and fundamentals. So, all right, let's take a look at Quant. Now, Quant, this is a great example. This is one where I do have a position. Not as familiar with the fundamentals, but I love the chart. I think there's a ton of strength in the chart, so I hold a position, but it's not a very large position, for me at least. For you, if I share the position size, you might be like, oh, wow, that's a lot. But it's really, to me, it's not significant. So a couple things here. First off, I'm going to make sure this is straight. Okay. But first off, one of the things that I have indicated on Twitter, and we're going to take a look at some price indicators as well, this is one of these ones that started to turn up very early in the fall of last year as most of the market was correcting. I remember this distinctively. And I remember tweeting out to everyone saying, guys, let's not get crazy here. Because as Quant was running and making some major moves and moving up from a 50 market cap ranking all the way up to like 30, I think it broke top 30, perhaps. There were some pretty absurd tweets that were saying that Quant would never have a harsh correction. We were headed to $1,000 plus. That is the time when you want to get out, typically, or at least be wary, right? And of course, look what happened. Since October until now, that is 9 months of consolidation to the downside, right? Now, while this is a correction, the way I would actually choose to best state the price action that has gone on since October, yes, it's been a correction, but it's more so been consolidation, very healthy consolidation, because look what we've done. I mean, this low down here all the way at $40 is much higher than the higher low here at nearly $100, right? So there is a ton of strength coming into this project based on the high level of consolidation that has taken place. Even when the market was correcting a couple months ago and a lot of altcoins created double bottoms or they created a new lower low, look at how strong this chart is. We stayed at this $97 to $100 level. Now, furthermore, if we take a look at the price indicators, the other thing I would like to point out to you guys, something to be keenly aware of, and this is a weekly chart for everyone who is holding Quant. Pay close attention to what I'm about to say. Look at the RSI. Number one, this is the first thing I want to point out to you. The RSI, as you can see, since October, we were in a downtrend, okay? We've since broken out of that downtrend or trying to stabilize to make moves higher. That's what's going on. So there is strength that is beginning to come into this project. The other thing that's really interesting, and this really piqued my interest, look at the rising stochastic RSI as price is just doing this. It's a form of, to me, that's a form of bullish divergence on the RSI. There's a form of bullish divergence there on the RSI, which actually makes me think to also share the fact that on the RSI as well, you can see we are increasing as well. So the RSI, or the relative strength index, is beginning to develop some momentum to the upside, as well as the stochastic RSI, as price is just sort of boring, right? Something to really pay attention to. And the other thing I would keep in mind with this chart is the MACD, while we don't have a positive cross and we really need to get above this zero trigger line up here, we have flattened out, okay? If a surge of volume comes into this thing, the MACD is going to turn up very quickly. It's going to turn up very quickly. And the last thing I would like to point you to, I don't think there's any price indicators I wanted to look at really. Well, we do. Okay, there are actually. The other thing I wanted to point you to is history doesn't repeat, but it often likes to rhyme. Since our top, now this is a three-day chart of Bitcoin over Quant over Bitcoin. So it's the Quant BTC relativity chart. You can see since we had our top here, to the point of the breakout from consolidation, 278 days. From the top here to the point of consolidation, we're now past 278 days. We're at 284. But look at the pattern. Is the pattern not similar? You can see here that the pattern is very, very similar in terms of the structure that's taking place. It's almost like a falling wedge that's forming down here, right? And the last thing I wanted to point out here, we're starting to see some increases in the MACD. This is pushing up even though we've been going down. We see bullish divergence on the RSI. Again, the RSI is pushing up. And the stochastic RSI, even though I don't have the reading on, the stochastic RSI is 82 over 67, which is very bullish. This, to me, is showing all of the signs. The way to phrase this is, when you're evaluating a chart, a lot of times, there could be red flags, right? Just like when you're dating someone. If you're dating someone and red flags show up, best pay attention. Best pay attention because it can burn you. Maybe I'm got some stuff on my mind, maybe. Also, when you're dating somebody, maybe some green flags show up. You're like, wow, I really like this. This is great to see, right? Well, there are green flags that can show up in the charts as well. And so what these green flags are showing us, green flag, check mark, they're providing, I guess you could say, a leading indicator. I hesitate to use that word leading, but they're sort of like a leading indicator to tell us, oh, hey, CBG, there's a lot of momentum and bullish structure building in this chart and a lot of things that are looking similar to a prior breakout. We could expect a potential break to the upside in a major way soon based on what we're seeing here. Keep in mind, last point to be made on this chart, I want to emphasize, okay? We have not seen a break up in this chart really since July, okay? We bottomed here in June, and we really didn't see a major push to the upside beginning in July, where we moved in 1 week from 55 all the way up as high as $90. We almost doubled, right? And this was the beginning in July all the way through October, and that would have been August, September, 3 months. In 3 months, we went from 55 all the way up to 226. So we did a 4X, okay, in 3 months. That's how quickly this can move. So, when you're looking at this, the term moon boy likes to get thrown around a lot. But I know myself, and I know that I'm not a moon boy. If you guys have any idea what an actuary is, you would know that by nature, I'm actually a very conservative individual in many ways. But I guess the fact that I'm in this market, I'm a risk taker, right? But this sort of a move, okay, quant going all the way up to $700, correcting all the way down to 260, and I think I spelled this out in a video. If I didn't, I should re-release a video. And then shooting all the way past $1,000 up to $1,500. This is not unrealistic based on what I have sketched out here, it doing something similar. So this thing quickly escalating in value from 100 all the way up to $200, $300, $400, $600 or $700 is not unlikely, in my opinion, once momentum really starts to come into this market. Because the thing you have to consider is, especially when you go back to prior movements that have taken place in altcoins with strong impulses that have taken place with Bitcoin. What's up, Track? I saw you in the live stream, by the way, yesterday. I just didn't have the opportunity to acknowledge everyone because I wanted to give Tony the floor. But appreciate the support. The thing you have to realize is the strongest impulses in this market will take place once Bitcoin breaks its all-time high. That's when things will really start to go ballistic for the altcoins. But even as Bitcoin is running up to 40, 50, 60,000, you're going to have some altcoins that are running. I mean, you're going to have some of the larger caps and even mid caps running. But a lot of those smaller caps, they're really going to need to be a little more patient with those and allow the money to kind of flow into those later in the cycle. But you're going to have a few impulses here. You're not going to just, your Harmony One isn't going to go from a penny all the way up to 50 cents in one shot. It's got to make steady progress, right? Maybe it shoots up to 20 cents or 25 cents and then consolidates and then starts heading up towards 50 cents, around 50 cents plus, right? So this to me is very reasonable. I think there is some momentum building in both the quant and the quant BTC chart. Guys, those are really the major charts I wanted to take a look at with you. I can certainly pull up a few more charts to talk about. We've been live streaming for about 30 minutes now. So I think this is a good segment and thank you for everyone new tuning in, and I appreciate the support and the thumbs up. Decided to start the live stream early. And what I wanted to say is this is a good point in the live stream to hand it over to you. I am, if I could, I would hand the microphone over to you. I wish YouTube would allow me to do that. I'd allow you to speak. But guys, what do you want me to chart? What do you want me to take a look at? Anything at all? I do know that we haven't looked at the DXY in a while, so I thought maybe that would be value added. Have a conversation about what we're seeing in the dollar index. As you guys know, or you should know if you've been subscribed here for a long time, or not even a long time, there is an inverse relationship in general between the DXY and the equity markets and crypto. So in general, what that means for purposes of our conversation right now, the more bearish the dollar index is, the better it is for crypto and the better it is for equity markets. Now, right now, what's interesting, Duncan, I will take a look, DT, I will take a look at A0. Thank you. We haven't taken a look at that in a while. I just looked at the chart, though, the other day, so I can share with you what's going on. Now, right here, what's interesting about this is, I'm going to have to redraw this. You can see what I had drawn, which is 100% valid at the time I drew it. We have a pole and a pennant, right? And this is a bear flag, okay? Bearish pattern with a target somewhere down here, which I was skeptical we'd go all the way down to 89. My main range for the dollar that I'm really looking for it to go to is around 95 to 91. Could we nuke all the way to 89? Yeah, sure. But my main zone I'm looking for is about 95 to 91. It's a major area of price confluence from before. So I think breaking 95 would be very bearish. That would be awesome to see. Ned, thank you for the super chat. I will make sure to get to SLP. We'll take a look at it. Thank you for the super chat. Very much appreciated. Yeah, so 95 is a major area of price confluence as well as 91. About the 92 area. So anywhere in this area is really where I'm expecting it to bottom. I mean, if it starts to break below 92, winner, chicken dinner for crypto and equities. But right now, what I'm seeing in the dollar index, which is really interesting, and I honestly haven't looked at this chart in a little while, we started to break back up into the pennant. So the question is this pennant still valid? No, I mean, we broke back up in it. So it could be something like this. Now, this is still a bear pennant, just to let you guys know. I'm not, and some people that don't understand technical analysis think, oh, you're just making up the lines now to fit your narrative. No, that's actually not what I'm doing. Now, if I did this, yeah, now I'm just making shit up, because what I'm doing is I'm drawing lines through candle bodies, which is extremely inappropriate, and it would show that I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. But in this case, when I have a line drawn like this and I say, well, hey guys, it's a valid bear pennant, right? And then I redraw it like this, you can see it's not going through bodies, it's just going through the wicks. This is still a pennant, guys. This is a pole and a pennant to the downside. So still a valid bear pennant. Oh, it'll be interesting to see what price reaction does. I think based on how the charts are lining up, you know, we could see the DXY. Yeah, no sense in drawing that. We could see the DXY shoot anywhere up here towards like 103, 104, but then I think it's going to top out and it's going to come crashing down, so something to keep an eye on. Now, let's get to a couple questions here, and I appreciate the engagement. Honestly, guys, when I come out here and live stream, half of the enjoyment for me, or maybe even more than half of the enjoyment, is when you guys ask questions, so I do appreciate it. Okay, first question, and then I'm going to get to the super chat here for SLP. But the first question was from DT, longtime follower and supporter of the channel and content, which means a lot to me. We're going to take a look at A0. So A0 right now, this is on a weekly chart. Now, the first thing that I had noticed when I was charting this out, and it's not, to me, this is not a big deal. It does express weakness in the chart. But you can't, let's have an honest conversation. You can't expect until the end of time necessarily for an upwards level area of support to sustain itself. Would it be monumentally bullish if it did it for many years? Absolutely. But it's not the end of the world if we broke support there, okay? Now that we've broken this upwards level of support, let's kind of reevaluate where price is at. We can see I have a few areas of price confluence here that we're going to have to turn from green areas of support to red areas of resistance. I simply didn't redraw it because I just visualized it. You can also see there's a psychological level here at $1. It's like $1.01. Now, one thing to understand, the first thing I would point out with a chart like this is having charted things for a long time now, and I'm actually just going to put this, is $1? Yeah, we're just going to put this at $1 because $1, what you have to understand is having charted things for 7 years now, okay? I can tell you point blank, and we spoke about market psychology yesterday, $1 is a psychological level, okay? So it is going to be imperative and it's going to be difficult for us to get back above $1 now that we've broken it. We're at 92 cents, and the key area I want to see us get above, I don't want to see us wick above, I want to see us get above and stay above is $1. Once we can confidently stay above $1, we're talking about $1.06, $1.17. And then DT, what I'd like you to do is once we start pushing above $1.17, let's come back, let's have a conversation. The other thing to keep in mind with this chart is we have a downward area of resistance here we need to break, right? So we have a couple things going on here. We have downward resistance. We have $1 psychological level. Now, in terms of areas of support, because we haven't spoken about support levels, you can see we've wicked down to this area. Now, why should that not be surprising? The way that we develop areas of price confluence is we look left, okay? And when we look left on the chart, okay, what it shows us is prior price action. Now we're looking at a weekly, so these are prior months that we're looking at here, consolidated. Weeks, really, but months. And you can see wicks here, right? Areas of price confluence. Yes, we temporarily broke here, but wicks, a wick. And that's right at about 85 cents. This area at 85 cents is a critical level. For A0, what I do not want to see is I do not want to see us, DT, break 85 cents. If we break 85 cents, the next area I see is at 79, and if we break 79, I don't see an area really until 67 cents. So 85 must hold, else we're going to start going towards 79. If 79 breaks, that's a critical level because I really don't see an area until, like I said, around 65, 66 cents. So that's what I see on A0. Price indicators, looks like the MACD. By the way, on a positive note, the stochastic RSI is turning up. We see we're at 20 over 15, which is bullish. And what I also like to see is the histogram on the MACD has lightened in red color, so it's getting less bearish. And the MACD is flattening out. Sometimes when I do this, I feel like a weather forecaster, like a weather forecaster. And the clouds are coming in from the west, moving into the east, and we are expecting sunny skies in South Florida this weekend. We are expecting sunny skies in South Florida this weekend. All right, Ned, I've seen you on the live streams several times, so I appreciate the support. Now, what can SLP do in a bull run? I don't think I have a chart of SLP. Can you take a look at my bags and then pump them, please? Well, yes, Nick. Yes, we can. Please, everybody, could you do me a favor? Could you please pump Nick's bags? Would you please help us to do that? All right. Fucking Jorge's not in the house. What's going on? Jorge, are you there? Are you just being quiet today? Like, what is happening? Like, why are you being quiet today? I would expect nothing less of you than to be giving me shit right now. SLP USD. Is this right? Smooth love potion? Ned, are you trying to send me signals here, brother? I only bat for one team, Ned. So I don't really bat for that team. Yes, you are asking about smooth love potion. What is this? Let's take a look at this together. Oh, man. What market cap ranking is this? Oh, wow. Market cap ranking is 305. So I'm unfamiliar with this project. I was expecting to see this thing at 1,000 or 2,000, but Okay. Smooth love potion. All right, Ned. Let's have an honest conversation, okay? You know, on this channel, you've been here many times. When I see a dumpster fire, I call it out, right? Now, unless there's more price data that I'm missing here, right now, what I think we're looking at is a pile of poop. That's what I think we're looking at. Yeah, this is not looking good, Nick. Or, no, excuse me, not Nick, Ned. This is not looking good. I'm trying to help you out here and find another exchange that might have more information, but it looks like this smooth love potion, this is going to take you to the Heartbreak Hotel. Shawn Michaels, back in the 90s, the Heartbreak Hotel. By the way, if you follow me on Twitter, who did the Shawn Michaels pose better? Shawn Michaels or myself? I did post a photo on my story when I was in Sarasota, Florida. Who did the Shawn Michaels pose better, myself or CBG? Okay, so yeah, this is not looking good. This is not looking good. Now, the first thing I want to convey to you is this isn't a downtrend, and I don't think, I mean, this is pretty easy to convey, but yeah, I don't even, dear God. Okay. I might draw it like that. Now, one of the things I notice with this chart, besides it looking like a pile of poop, is now you can draw this descending resistance in several ways. What I'm aiming to do is I personally draw the descending resistance. I'm intentionally not choosing to draw it like this. It's going to be at a steeper angle, see? And you're going to say, oh, well, it's broken out. See, we're good. Look, we broke out of the downward resistance here, right? We broke out right here at too steep of a decline. And really what I'd like to see are more touches. I want to convey the point that this thing is in a serious downtrend. And it looks like a pile of shit at the moment. But even if we draw it at a less steep incline like this, what we can see is prices beginning to try to flatten out and break out of this downward resistance area. What can SLP do in a bull run? Well, there's limited price data here. I'm always going to keep things 100% real with you. There's limited price data, and this thing has literally been, we would call this in actuarial science, a death spiral, okay? This has been in a death spiral. This has been doing nothing but down. What I can offer you is instead of telling you what I think it can do in a bull run, what I can do is chart this thing out and at least share with you what we need to see happen in the chart. And you're welcome to come back. And I appreciate the super chat, but the next time you come back and ask a question on SLP, Ned, no need for a super chat. I will chart it for you and we'll update it. So I'm seeing an area of support right around there. Now, the reason I have it drawn there is because there's several price wicks, and that looks like it's at about, oh, wow, 0.15 cents, okay? 0.15 cents. Could draw it a little higher, but we're going to draw it. I actually would like to draw it higher. We're going to draw it right about there, and that's at about 0.152 cents, okay? 0.152 cents. We really want to see 0.152 cents hold because keep in mind, if we go below this wick here, we're creating new all-time lows, right? So really, ideally, we want to hold this 0.152 cent area. There's a very obvious area of resistance here, okay? We can see it even with the limited price data and that the fact that this thing is in a death spiral. Check this out. This isn't rocket science. There's a wick here, and because there was a little bit of price confluence there, look at all these wicks. Even this wick here, we can knock it above this area here. This is at 0.18 cents. 0.18 cents. We cannot seem to get above that area. So step one, Ned, is to get above 0.18 cents. Step two is for this chart to not look so hideous. Step two, again, look at this price wick. It goes all the way up to roughly, oh, well, that's not surprising, psychological level. Look at where we're at, 0.2 cents, okay? So there's really a zone. The way I would describe this is there's a zone of resistance right between the 0.18 and the 0.2 cent area, right? This is the area that we really want to clear. Now, once we start clearing 0.2 cents, we have other areas of price confluence to consider here. Looks like we have an area of resistance there I would draw. I mean, at least there are stair steps down, so it does make drawing resistance fairly easy. And what I would say to you, in all honesty, and I'm being very serious when I say this, and I actually think this is a really good point in the chart, because this was really, when you look at the chart, we had a steep rise and then a steep plummet, and then we sort of slowly drifted down. It's going to be very important, and this is when things are going to get potentially interesting on the chart, to get above this area. I'm going to mark it with an orange line. So I have several areas of resistance. You can see them here. I have 0.3 cents, 0.43 cents. This 0.56 cent area, once we get above 0.56 cents, that is when I want you to come back and have a conversation with me about how the chart is looking. Because until we clear all of this area, take a look at all this price data. See all this price data here? Until we can clear out of all this and get back up in here to start entertaining this downfall, I'm not interested in this chart. So really that's the main area, Ned. 0.56 cents. When we get a weekly close at or above 0.56 cents, like I always say, come on back and let's rechart this thing and take a look at it. We could talk about higher levels. Now, is there any hope that we could see a turnaround soon? Now, one nice thing to see here is the MACD has just continued moving up, which is good. Stochastic RSI, now I like to see this, even though price is going sideways and we sort of seem to have found our bottom around this 0.15 cent area, you can see the stochastic RSI is continuing to increase. I would call that bullish divergence on the RSI, okay? RSI is relatively flat, not doing anything interesting 3-day. Nothing too interesting. So this one we got to be patient in, but it's not a beautiful looking chart. It really is not. Not one of the more beautiful looking charts that I've charted here. Yeah, and I guess the only other thing I'd point out, sort of a falling wedge pattern you could, if you're sort of grasping for something. Sort of consolidating right in this area, but I think you're sort of grasping for something at that point. I think we just need that 0.56 cent area to close. Thank you for the super chat, Ned, and thank you for the question. I definitely appreciate the support very much. Oh, it's Axie Infinity gaming token. Okay, I'm not really familiar with Axie Infinity and didn't know they had this gaming token. What is it again? It's called Smooth Love Potion. What CBG needs in his life, a smooth love potion. That's what I need, folks, a smooth love potion. Does anybody have a smooth love potion for me? I need a little love. Need a little love in my life. Any other question, guys? Any other questions? We've been going 48 minutes. I think my Instacart order is going to be here for some groceries so I can make a dinner. Fun fact, I love to cook. Does anybody here, drop a comment, getting off crypto for a moment here, guys. Does anybody here enjoy cooking? And is anybody here good at cooking? I have learned, even though I haven't been successful at this stage in my life as an unmarried man, unfortunately, I have learned that a way to a woman's heart is through her stomach. It's not. It's food. All right. A way to her heart is food, guys. For all the guys, which I think is 99% of you in here, if you really want to find your way to a woman's heart and win her over, either buy her good food that's already pre-made, or be a really good cook, man. Have a nice bottle of wine and cook up some nice salmon dish with maybe some coconut rice and some sauteed Brussels sprouts with some manchego cheese. Just saying. Not that I haven't done that before, but just saying. Coconut rice is a good one. The manchego cheese with the Brussels sprouts. And then the manchego cheese with the coconut rice, you don't want to overpower the salmon and have it. I'd probably just do a simply grilled salmon. Another favorite dish of mine is cilantro lime salmon. That is a favorite dish of mine. That with coconut rice, very good. Now, in that case, I would just have some simple sauteed Brussels sprouts in that case. DT, I didn't know that was a hobby of yours. Very, very nice. We have something in common. I love cooking. Yeah, I could, I could cook even more if I had more time. And a lot of times, like in the evenings, my dinners will be super, super simple. If I had more time, if I made more time, I would love to, especially if you're with someone and you enjoy cooking with them. I was actually, when I was in my young 20s, I dated someone there for a while. We loved to cook together. It was actually a lot of fun. You go through these moments in time in your life, but I dated someone in my young 20s, young to mid 20s. And one of the things that I appreciated looking back on that relationship was we loved to cook together. So we'd make a lot of really interesting meals, which was fun. But I love cooking. Let's see what else we got here. Went in heavy at 0.002, hoping to get out between 0.005 to 0.01. Yeah, Ned, never financial advice, my friend. Never financial advice. Hear what I'm saying, because I could be dead wrong. Now, this is a 300 market cap thing, so this thing could shoot up in value. But if I was trading this, okay, hypothetically, I own none of this, and I'm not offering you financial advice. If I was trading this, I would... This is a major. I guess it depends on your risk reward strategy. But personally, if I enter down here at 0.15, 0.2, right as we start to get up here towards 0.433, I would shave some off. I would shave even more off. Once we start getting up towards 0.56, so hypothetically, I might 100% of my position, I'd probably take like a quarter off right here, 25%. I'd take maybe another I'd sell like 50% as soon as we got up. So 25%, 50%, and then the rest, the 25%, I would let that ride and see if we could go a little higher. But I would heavily be selling most of my position right in this area. That's what I would be doing. Because even if we wick above, the likelihood is even if we get some strong wick like this, we're going to come back down to this area and then continue moving back up, right? We can shoot well past the 0.56 temporarily. There could be volatility. It could take us all the way up to your point. It could take us all the way up to a penny. But I would be selling heavily at 0.4 and 0.56, 0.43 and 0.56. Thank you to everyone new tuning in. Does anyone have any charting questions? I'm going to take one more charting question. You're just good at eating, not cooking. Unfortunately, that's the way most of my recent relationships have gone. Being with somebody who can't cook, and I end up being the cook. But I don't mind. I don't mind one bit. In fact, a good solution to that is if you're with someone and you are the cook, like in my case, I am a very good cook, the other person can be the designated clean-upper. So I cook and the other person cleans up. So that could be a win-win. Yes, I will cook for you. Yes, that is the way to your heart. I will cook dinner. I will make us breakfast, lunch, but you can clean the house and you can clean up after dinner and lunch because I don't want to have to do that. So, hey, that's a good trade-off, right? I would sign me up for that. Jace84, thank you for joining the live stream and thank you for your question. So one of the things and I can tell you're a newer viewer, so welcome in and I appreciate you checking out the channel. The thing that we do, I would say as a statistician, 99% of the time, 98, 97% of the time, we lead off with Bitcoin. So if you go back to the beginning of the live stream, you will see I spoke pretty extensively to Bitcoin, and that's something I routinely do on the live stream on All in the Charts. All right, guys, look, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I will be back on the live stream tomorrow. Now, you guys do know, you really do need to click the bell icon for notifications because on Fridays, I typically do live stream at a different time that is outside that 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you click the bell icon for notifications. I can't promise you what time I'm going live tomorrow, but I will definitely be live streaming and we'll check out the prices tomorrow. I know it is so painful right now. Prices are just going sideways, and it's the most gruelingly painful thing for all the TikTokers and Instagrammers that have zero attention span and want to make $1 million overnight. But be patient. because for reasons heavily that I spoke to, and mostly Tony spoke to yesterday, market really is, in our opinion, setting up for a strong move and impulse in the shorter term to the upside. We'll have to see if that plays out. But guys, I appreciate the viewership and support. Make sure, if you haven't, to show support for the channel, click the thumbs up. You can hide the comment to click the thumbs up. I would appreciate it to try to get the content out there. Drop me a comment. Express a little love to CBG. I could use a little love in my life. And yeah, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I'll be back here tomorrow. I hope you guys all appreciate it. Share the video with at least one person. And until next time, spread awareness and carry the education forward. Take care, guys. And gals. Gals is such an old-fashioned term. Take care, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good evening, morning, afternoon, or night.